She's a whore, and she's American. No one else that I've ever heard of. Two of the worst things I'd imagine for an oligarch. A small indie film. Mikey Madison plays a sex worker who meets up with the son of a Russian oligarch. Writer-director Sean Baker did
Indie Darling.
Red Rocket that came out last year.
Tangerine.
Positive buzz. I like the fact that the Academy has been considering non-traditional nominations the last couple of years. That could be on
It's just
someone's
got that
list.
kind of vibe.
I got a kid who wants someone who speaks Russian.
My Russian is terrible. Like 15 cash up front.
Deal.
I am telling you, you do not know this guy. We're getting in an old ASAP.
My number 9 film is Anora. This is starring Mikey Madison. This is starring, though, no one else that I've ever heard of. This is a small indie film, and basically Mikey Madison plays a sex worker. She plays a sex worker who meets up with the son of a Russian oligarch.
An Uzbeki American sex worker.
And they get married, they go to Vegas, and of course the oligarch is none too happy that his son is going local, going native.
Whore.
She's a whore, and she's American. Two of the worst things I'd imagine for an oligarch an oligarch of any
I'm
kind.
sure the American part isn't the problem.
Oh,
It's
it probably
the sex
probably
worker
that too.
part. You know?
I do love, though, I'm someone that lives in Las Vegas. I've lived in Las Vegas for the better part of 20 years, 18 years now. So the fact that they actually got on a plane, came over, for a little indie film to come over and be at the little White Wedding Chapel to actually shoot on Fremont Street is kind of a nice touch that they didn't just try and make it look like Las Vegas by having Toronto in the background and there's a palm tree there.
Then a cut in of some generic, something they downloaded from Envato Elements.
Yeah,
They paid a license for that.
Exactly. Get the stock footage. I like the fact that they actually came to Vegas. Mikey Madison has done a lot of YA, young adult type content in the past, and the fact that this is one of her first leading roles, if not the first leading role for her, I think, it's a bit predictable. I think this film is probably, you're going to get a lot of you kind of get a lot of what the story is in the trailers. Interesting, though, it is from writer-director Sean Baker, who also did
Indie Darling.
Yeah, Indie Darling, did Red Rocket that came out last year, which got a lot of positive buzz. Yeah, Tangerine
one
also.
About a sex worker.
Yeah.
A sympathetic portrayal of a sex worker.
And he knows how to tell edgy indie movie stories. So I am hopeful, I am optimistic about this. Yeah, it looks a little predictable, but if it's a little edgy, if it's a little sexy, why not? And if they actually took the time to come to Vegas to shoot part of this film, it shows a commitment, I think, to the details, that the details of this story matter, at least a little bit. So
the texture.
Yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic. I love the cinematography that we're seeing here. It's very dark. It's very brooding. I'm not really into dark and brooding most of the time, but I do think that aesthetic works when you're telling a Vegas story, and I think it looks like it might work in this story. So for all those reasons, I am optimistic. That's why it's number 9 on my list, but because it is predictable, it's not higher on my list, but I do think that there are some talented actors here, led by Mikey Madison. So, have you seen the trailer for Anora?
It's interesting. I'm fine with this not being on my list. Because it's not this particular kind of melodrama is not my jam. I've just, it's not something I'm interested in. Even though you can see there's that bit of Eastern Promises mixed in with, leaving Las Vegas. You think this film premiered at Cannes, won the Palme d'Or, 96% on Rotten Tomatoes, 89 Metacritic score. Lots of early reviews, mostly from those people who've seen it at these film festivals it's in. I'm actually expecting, while it's not my jam, I'm expecting above average. This has got, it's like, that should be on an early Oscars kind of, hey, maybe this will be, you know, on somebody's long list. Early, give it some, let's give it some good odds, and it should be on some people's Oscar predictions list. So yeah, I'm expecting great things. I just not my jam.
Well,
That's
and
why
you know,
I can't say I'm excited about it, but I am interested in how it does.
you know,
because I think it'll do great.
the fact that you bring up Oscars is interesting because there was that Best Actress nominee a year ago, blanking on her name or what the film was, but it was about the female alcoholic in Texas who got the Oscar nomination, and there was some controversy surrounding it for how they were promoting the film. But that also kind of an edgy indie film that you wouldn't expect to get Oscar nominations or attention, but I could see if that film
It was
passes.
leaving Las Vegas, by the by.
Leaving Las Vegas, okay.
It was leaving Las Vegas.
The fact that I didn't know that off the top of my head is
I
a
think you'd be
shonda on
shocked.
my
You'd be
Vegas stuff.
Ashamed.
Yeah, I like the fact that the Academy has been considering non-traditional nominations the last couple of years. That is interesting that you would mention that could be on
It's just
someone's
got that kind
list.
of vibe.
Yeah,
It's got a bit of, I could see early Oscars buzz when people start really talking about it.
yeah.
Although I suppose you could say DMG, you and I are starting that conversation now.
We are. We're having
like
the conversation.
talking about Christmas before Halloween.
Yeah.
We're talking about the Oscars in September.
Damn it. Yes. Look, I have not seen this film yet, but heck, you did more research on my choice than I did. The fact that we're getting a lot of good reviews and scores already, I think at least shows that the critics like it. Whether or not audiences will like it as much, we will see. But
there's always kind of a squeeze. Well, we'll get more into that. A couple of my later choices where I'm like, okay, it did well here, but I'm expecting a little less.
and also I think it is interesting to note that we did get a full trailer out of this. So the fact that we didn't for my 10 cents.
It's really sticking in your craw.
Well, indie movies.
It's bugging you. It's bugging you more than it bugs me.
Yeah, I mean, indie movies. You got to promote these things. So, I'm glad we do have a trailer for Anora, and I hope it is good. I do plan to watch this in theaters. So, what do you know about Anora? Are you guys planning to watch Anora in theaters? Are you planning to watch it on streaming? Or do you just not really care about this Mikey Madison film? I think it looks good, but what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments section below this video. I've been Dragon Movie Guy. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.